Welcome to our meeting this evening. We'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, everyone, welcome to the regular City Commission of tonight, Monday, December 8th, 2025. It's good to see everybody here, and welcome to anyone watching online this evening. And we'll go ahead and start by, one of the things I'd like to do, we'll go ahead and start with roll call first.
Benson. Here. Birch.
Here.
Brunick.
Here.
Sarda. Here. Conkling.
Here.
Hunoff.
Here.
Mosier. Here. Spencer.
Here.
Mayor Villanueva.
Here.
City Manager Leone.
Here.
City Attorney Denherter.
Here.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. One of the things, so what I was saying is that I would like to take a moment. We had our Christmas party for the city. It was really a wonderful party. It was neat to see a lot of friendly and wonderful faces there, all of our team there. It was really exciting. I had the pleasure of kind of reading an opening for that party, and knowing that there's probably some employees that were not there, and knowing that there was commissioners that were not there, I'd like to go ahead and read that again, if you will all humor me. So this is what I said opening our party for the employees. So I said, good evening, everyone, and Merry Christmas. As we gather here tonight to celebrate the season, I'm reminded that the true magic of Christmas isn't found in the lights, the music, or even the gifts. It's found in the people that we share it with. Now, with that being said, I wouldn't be truthful of me if I failed to mention the joy I felt after officially helping light our tree last night at Riverside Park, and thank you all that made that last night's event possible. It was truly an honor and a magical moment in my life that I will always cherish. And what a wonderful way to officially start Yankton's Christmas season. This year, our success, our strength, and our joy we've created together for the Yankton community is built on a stable foundation of these core principles: cooperation, collaboration, and communication. It's truly an honor for me to be representing our team, Team Yankton, not only as your mayor and biggest fan, but also your biggest cheerleader, probably both literally and figuratively. Through cooperation, we've supported one another, stepping in with helping hands when help was needed, and lifting each other up through the challenges we've faced together, not only at work, but in our personal lives. Through collaboration, we've combined our talents and ideas to achieve things none of us could have done alone, but remembering that we were always stronger together. And through open and honest communication, we've built trust, strengthened relationships, and we are continuing to create a culture where everyone's voice matters. Where as an employee of this city, you'll be listened to, and where you are valued as a person. Also where you will never be just a number or just a face in the crowd. If you ever feel that way, let us know, and together we will work to fix that. Tonight is a celebration not just of the holidays, but for you all. I'm grateful for each of you and also for your families, your kindness, your commitment, and the heart you bring to this city and share with each other. For when you are putting in the extra hours, those are hours you're not spent with your loved ones. We recognize and appreciate that sacrifice. Also, thank you to my fellow commissioners. Your varying skill sets, expertise, and knowledge make my job as mayor look easy. I care for and appreciate every one of you for what you bring to the City Commission in your own unique way. I appreciate the collective vision we have when we come together with city staff to move this city forward with sound, well-thought-out decision-making. At times, we will agree to disagree, and that's okay, but that's what makes us an effective team. Many times our job is thankless and we become targets publicly for those with opposing viewpoints. I applaud you all for the courage it takes to put yourselves out there in front of our community as leaders working together on this commission. Once again, thank you all for being part of our city team, and may this evening be filled with laughter, warmth, and the spirit of togetherness that defines who we are as a city. Merry Christmas, and may God bless you all. Thank you for making this another special year for our amazing city. So that is what I read at the Christmas party, and I echo all of what I said also to our citizens. Thank you for everything you do as citizens, the volunteer hours that I know people put in, the extra work and the kindness. It really shows by how welcoming the city of Yankton is to our visitors and just to our neighbors. So I want to say thank you to you all, and Merry Christmas. Okay, so thank you for humoring me. Next, Number 2, under routine business, we'll go ahead and approve the minutes of the regular meeting of November 4th, 24th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, anyone from the public? Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Okay, minutes are approved. Next, number 3, the schedule of bills under routine business. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
I moved to
Go ahead, Bridget.
pay the bills.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Commission? Anyone from the public? Seeing no movement, roll call.
Benson.
Aye.
Birch.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Sarda.
Aye.
Conkling.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Mosier.
Aye.
Spencer.
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva.
Aye. Motion passes. Bills will be paid. And next, we have the city manager's report.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the commission and public. I'll try to be quick here. I have a few things to go through with you. As part of our city Christmas party, as the commission knows, we were able to declare December 26th as a holiday as well. So city services and city buildings will be closed on December 24th, 25th, and 26th. Sanitation and other services will be available, so we'll be coming out with some information very shortly on that. Departments are making decisions there. I know I spoke with Dana at the library today. She's making some decisions about the 26th, and I'm sure Luke at the summit is as well. So look for more information there. I just don't quite have that tonight. Also, I want to let the public know, if you haven't heard already, that Julia Hussein from Dispatch was named as our Employee of the Year. Julia's been with us almost 30 years. She's been a fantastic employee and has mentored a lot of our employees. So a great choice by our employees to have her as our 2025 Employee of the Year. Our next meeting is in this room. It is December 18th at noon. Everyone is welcome to join us following that meeting at the City Hall. Employees have a potluck, so please come on up for the media's benefit. No business will be discussed. City business, it will just be lunch there if the commissioners would like to join us for that. And on the vein of holidays and changing meeting days, staff has been talking about perhaps in the new year bringing forward an ordinance change that just indicates that when we have a holiday, we can automatically move our meeting to the next working business day. That often happens on a Tuesday. We do a lot of juggling meetings around, and sometimes we forget what we've asked you to approve or not. So we're working at crafting some language. If anyone's opposed to us doing that in the next year, let us know. But most of our holidays are on Mondays, and now that in 2026, Native American Day will also be a holiday. We run into that a few times throughout the year with Memorial Day, and could run into it with Juneteenth, I believe. So we want to just make that a little easier for us as a staff, if that's possible. So we'll be talking to you about that next year. We've also heard that the Opens Meeting Commission has met. They may be bringing some proposals forward next year that may impact some of the ways we do our business. At this point, they're just proposals, but we'll keep our pulse on that. Ross and Lisa and I have been communicating back and forth about that as well, and so we'll let you know if anything comes to the surface during the legislative session. Wonderful evening, as the mayor noted, with Parade of Lights, and the tree lighting did receive a complaint over the weekend, and I wanted to pass it along. I told the individual that we would. The individual indicated that they were displeased with the removal of cars on 3rd Street. Somebody was shopping and was told they had to move the car. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the parade wasn't until 6, and so they were unhappy with the fact that we were asking to move cars. It does take a couple hours to get the downtown cleared and ready for an event like that. I did respond, and I said I would let you all know, and I said also to watch the meetings from this fall that you talked about it as a commission, a couple of meetings, and we had a task force, and even you all didn't agree on how to best handle that, and it's difficult. So Certainly, I also invited the person to come forward if they wanted to and visit with you about their feelings there, and that our officers were doing as they were told to ask folks to move their cars so we could make the downtown clear for that parade of lights. Commissioner Birch and I have been working with the library board. As you know, the library board is looking at possibilities of doing some new types of spaces, and they're taking a look at maybe what other opportunities could be in a new space. And one of those opportunities is a public meeting space, a meeting that they might be able to use for events, they might be able to use for library use, and we might be able to use. And so, for lack of a better term, he and I have been working on a worksheet for you all to sort of give some preferences of what you might want to see in a public meeting chamber. So we're going to give that to you. It's really sort of a what's important, what's not important, high, low priority, so we can get some feedback and get it to the full library board. Certainly, we want to think about safety and audio, visual, and all those good things, but also, if you have any additional comments, we want to hear about them so that the library board can help formulate those things and make those decisions, and as they get closer to getting information ready to take to an architect or to an engineering firm to help organize, I guess, and make their first plans. I think that's all I want to talk about for my weekend review, unless there's questions of me, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Bill.
Just to go off of what you talked about with the citizen complaint, I did have an employee that works downtown ask why they had to close it off so early. I understand. I mean, you can't do it at the last minute, but maybe we can take a look and see if there's something we can do.
I talked to Luke today. Well, I saw this email over the weekend, and so I wanted to check with the staff that was on the committee. And Luke said, you know, it takes a couple of hours, and this particular parade starts at 6. There's some kids' activities that start earlier. The lineup starts even earlier than that. So for those that, I guess the businesses that get contacted first, it does start, you know, it takes a couple hours, so it does start early in the afternoon or early-ish in the afternoon. So, and we have a lot of our park staff is working on securing with the barricades, blocking off the streets, and starting to get that equipment out. And so we really have who is working. I don't think we have too many extra folks put on, so we don't have a lot of people talking to business owners, and we want to give people a chance to actually move them. So we could probably ask if they can start different places, so they're not always starting on the same street at the same time, but it is quite a big area, so it's difficult. I understand that.
Commissioner, go ahead.
I'm glad you said that, because that was what I relayed to this person was, you know, the staff doesn't work until, 6 o'clock. I don't know when they get off, but it's obviously before then. And so they've got to get it done in their hours and their time schedule, so.
Okay, any more questions for the city manager? All right, we'll go ahead and move on then to public appearances. And tonight we do have an appearance from Banner Engineering, Mr. Luke Johnson. He's going to give us our 2025 bridge inspection report. So the floor is yours, Mr. Johnson. It looks like it's on.
Is this on?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for having me tonight. My name is Lucas Johnson. I'm with Banner Associates, and we were once again contracted by the city to perform your bridge inspections this year. As part of the bridge inspection program, it is a federal requirement that every 2 years, a minimum, bridges that are structure length are inspected. And so by structure length, it has to be more than 20 feet. And that's if you're looking at the stream, at the bridge from the stream, it's more than 20 feet. And those are the bridges that we look at every year. With the bridge inspections, the DOT pays 80% of the cost of that, and the city pays 20%. So this year, we're on the annual inspections for the bridges, and those are bridges that we want to take a closer look at more often, and that's the 23rd Street, Cedar Street, and Locust Street bridges, and those are the ones I'm here to talk about tonight.
Mr. Johnson, sorry for the interruption. Will you move the mic just closer
Yes.
to? Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Overall, there are 12 bridges in the city of Yankton that are structure length. Of those, 10 are classified in good condition and 2 are in poor condition. The 2 that are in poor condition also have weight limit restrictions on them. Those are the Cedar Street Bridge and the 23rd Street Bridge. This year, after the inspection, the Cedar Street Bridge, I reduced it to 50% of legal loads, and that's due to the overall condition of the structure. Also, some loss of bearing that I identified in the transfer of load from the superstructure to the substructure, and I'll show more pictures about that here later. Additionally, the 23rd Street Bridge had been at a 50% of legal loads. We decided to reduce that to 10 tons gross, and that's primarily due to the deterioration between the shear connections with the girders. I did meet with Adam Haberman and Brad Mosier recently to go over the 2025 bridge inspections. At that meeting, we discussed installing new load postings on 23rd Street and Cedar Street, which has been done. We also discussed the Cedar Street Bridge replacement. That's part of the big application process. We did submit it last year, but it was not awarded. It didn't score enough points. I'll discuss that later in the presentation here. And we also discussed the 23rd Street structure replacement. At the last commission meeting, I believe it was awarded, and it is due to begin construction in the spring of 2026. Jumping into the inspections, we'll look at the 23rd Street Bridge first. It was built in 1976, so it is certainly showing its age. You've heard me talk the last few years about the shear connections between the girders. What we're seeing is rust getting, those shear connections are rusting out, and we had this at 75% of legal loads 3 years ago. We reduced it to 50% of legal loads, and this year we've reduced it to 10 tons gross. In addition to the load restrictions we're placing on it, barricades were also placed to divert traffic away from those south 3 girders. Those are the worst case ones. And then there's one on the north side that's also in pretty poor condition. So traffic, if you've been out there, you've noticed, has to move over a little bit for it. Going underneath the bridge here, looking at the west abutment, just to go over some of the terminology when I refer to superstructure, that's the portion at the top, the concrete girders themselves, and then you have those resting on the pile cap, the timber pile cap, and then the timber pile themselves. One thing I'd point out in this picture is in the superstructure, between the girders, we see rust staining, and that's the evidence of the rust coming through with water infiltration between the girders. Moving over to the south side of the bridge, looking up, I have shown similar pictures to this one in the past. You can look up and actually see daylight between the girders. It's problematic. You don't have the load transfer from one girder to the next girder anymore. And that's a primary reason why this bridge is posted and why we want to replace it soon. And it has been awarded, like I said, to Alliance Construction out of Sioux Falls, looking at a June completion date. So we'll get this one taken care of here shortly. Moving over to the Locust Street Bridge, it's a little bit newer. It's the same type of construction with that double T, so that's why we like to look at it a little more often. It is in better condition. It doesn't see the loads and the amount of traffic that the 23rd Street Bridge has. You can see that in this picture. You don't have evidence of the rust staining between the girders and the bearing plates. Those are embedded into the girder at the ends, and that's what transfers the load down to the substructure. This picture is typical looking up for comparison with the 23rd Street Bridge. There is a minor amount of rust staining between the girders. However, it's not nearly to the degree that 23rd Street is. One thing I do look at on this bridge closely is at the bottom, the amount of paint failure that we have. It's not bad yet, but it will get to the point where you'll have the onset of active corrosion, and then you'll see some loss of section in those pile. I have recommended that this be painted sooner rather than later. But overall, this bridge is in good condition. It's actually in good enough condition where I've recommended that we remove it from the annual inspection cycle. The DOT and the city both agreed that that was probably the right thing to do because it is in good condition. With the Cedar Street Bridge, it's the same type of construction. Double T, but it is a longer bridge. This is a 3-span bridge. You see the abutment on the left and on the right, and then the intermediate supports in the channel are called the bents. This bridge was posted at 75%. I believe that's been in effect since for the last 15 years. So this year we decided to reduce it to 50%, and that's primarily due to the loss of bearing, which I'll show you a picture of here shortly. These are cracks you're looking down at the top of the bridge. These cracks are widespread throughout the top of the deck. They're not severe, but they're wide enough to allow water infiltration through the girders. And what happens then is you can see the rust staining on the pile cap. That's the green steel member. And then you also have active corrosion and section loss up there at the top. I referred to the bearing plates. Up at the top of that pile cap on the left, you'll see what happens is it begins rusting and expanding and pushing the girder away from the pile cap, and that's where you have the loss of bearing. And if we go up into the girder and look, we see that there is deterioration in the concrete to the point where we've lost 3 or 4 inches probably of concrete. And so what that does is it introduces stresses into the girder at a higher amount than there previously were. And so the answer to that would be to reduce the load to 50% in this case. The Cedar Street Bridge is up for big application once again this year. As I said, those of you unfamiliar with the big program, it's Bridge Improvement Grant. It's administered by the DOT, and it provides funding for local governments for bridge replacements or bridge rehabilitations if it's warranted. So there's typically an 80-20 cost share involved with that, and you can adjust that to score more points. I believe at the last commission meeting, it was approved to adjust it to 50-50 cost share. So what that does is it gets us an additional 10 points. The bridges are scored based on condition, if you have bid-ready plans available, and also that cost share. So with the bid-ready plans, which will be submitted as part of the application process again, we score an additional 10 points. With the last round of applications, Cedar Street was about a 49 for a score. The lowest bridge to receive funding this last year was at a 52, so we missed it by a few points. This year, with the decaying condition of it, the cost share and the bid-ready plans were scoring at about a 60. So while it's no guarantee that we'd be awarded for funding for this bridge, I think our chances have improved being at a 60. So that's a brief rundown of the Bridge Improvement Grant Program. If you've got any questions about that or anything else with the inspections, I'd be happy to take them.
Any questions for, oh, yes, Commissioner, go ahead.
So these 2 bridges we have that are in poor condition, I see are 47 and 49 years old respectively. Is that a normal lifespan for a bridge like that? And generally, is deterioration caused more by time or is it by volume of traffic?
I think looking at the 23rd Street Bridge and the volume of traffic and the loads that bridge takes, its condition after 50 years is probably as expected. The Cedar Street Bridge, it's more of a residential bridge. I don't know what really happened to that. There's those cracks that I showed at the top of it, why that bridge is, it's not at the decay as the 23rd Street Bridge. However, it's getting up there. So to answer your question, I think, yes, they have lived as long as they would be expected to live, and they've met their timeline.
Good question. And seeing the things that are actually going wrong with the bridge, there's some spalling and the decay, I realized over time that's going to happen. Are there, as we're replacing these bridges, are we doing things proactively that are going to make the bridge last longer, either in design or?
Yeah, we make recommendations after our bridge inspections are complete, and the city is typically proactive in most of them. There's the Locust Street Bridge. We did, that's the one with the rust at the water line. So we did get a contractor in there to look at that one. He gave a price for jacketing it, which is basically pouring concrete up against it to keep the water off of it. I believe it was about $20,000. We didn't accept that at this time. I think in the near future, something like that would be justifiable, though. As far as other bridges, I know we wash the salt off the deck every spring. That's important to get the salt away from it. Other than that, bridge rail painting, I think we do. But there's no significant recommendations that I've made beyond the Locust Street Bridge.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Yes, Commissioner, go ahead.
The 23rd Street Bridge, when that's all done, what will the load limit be on that one?
It'll be open for legal loads. There'll be no load limits on it.
Okay.
So,
I know they get a lot of landfill traffic and dump, yeah.
yep, and the concrete trucks going over it, and I believe, not Aztec, the
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate your presentation. Okay, so we will still be in public appearance, so if there's anyone that is in the audience here that would like to come and address the City Commission on any item that is not on this agenda, please do so. Now would be your time. Okay, I'm seeing no movement in the audience, so we'll go ahead and move on then to consent items. As I looked at the consent items, there is one thing that I would like to pull off of the consent agenda. That would be item number 1, the mobile home park license renewals. Reason that I'd like to do that is because I would like to get a little explanation as to what we're doing and why we're doing it. And I think we're being proactive by doing this, so I want to make sure that we're letting the public know why. And so I think that's something, if there's any questions, we can do that. But so I'm taking that off of the consent agenda and moving it then all the way to the very end. That'll be item number 10 then under our new business. So again, removing that first item, then we'll just have 3 items under the consent agenda. The establish the public hearing for transfer of the alcohol license on December 18th. We'll have number 3, establish the public hearing for another transfer of alcohol license on December 18th. That's from MG Oil doing business as Upper Deck, Troy and Marlis Erickson to Don Martz, DBA, Black Sheep Bar and Grill owners Don Lucas and Rachel Martz, 315 Broadway Ave. Again, that first one was also then that transfer MG Oil to Upper Deck, Troy and Marlis Erickson, 315 Pump and Stuff, doing business, owner David Lockwood. Last one would be renew commercial solid collector of solid waste licenses for 2026 period licensing. That's memorandum number 25-225. And again, just renewing the applications or commission to approve the renewal applications for commercial collection of solid waste licenses formerly known as private collector of refuse for the 2026 annual licensing period. So those 3 things. Do I have a motion to approve the consent items?
I would make the motion to approve those 3 items, striking number 1 to go into the lower part of the agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second. So right now I have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor of the consent agenda items, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Anyone abstaining? Okay, consent items are approved, and I'm removing that first item then to the number 10 under new business. Thanks, Commission. Okay, number 3, old business. So number 1 would be the second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 1102, supplement number 2 to ordinance number 1083, the 2025 annual appropriation ordinance. Consideration of memorandum number 25-226, recommending that the City Commission conduct the second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 1102, the second supplement to ordinance number 1083, the 2025 City of Yankton annual budget ordinance, and adopt said ordinance. And before I entertain a motion, I'll have Lisa go ahead and give us some explanation on this, please.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners. Tis the season of the budget supplement of fiscal year 2025. So throughout the year, we have done certain actions that have in turn needed a budget supplement. So the attached memorandum 25-226 does include those details by department. There were a few other departments that were over just due to the unknowns, as you say. Like one example is streetlights. Electricity, Northwestern Energy's bills have gone up almost 20%. So some of it's very standard. Just want to make sure we do not be over budget by the department. So there's kind of a detailed list in the budget ordinance. Overall, we're looking at an increase of, it depends on what fund you're looking at, but the general fund is looking at an increase of $148,956. Special revenue funds is looking at an increase of $826,514. A big chunk of that is the Aquatic Center early prepay that's going to come out of our bank on December 15th. That was something that was approved earlier this year. And then capital projects, we're looking at an increase of $1,263,242. A big chunk of that, again, is that's from the Aquatic Center prepay. The other items primarily are TID funds. TIDs are developer driven, so therefore we're getting higher taxes than we originally thought during the budget process. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to explain. Pretty much routine business as normal for fiscal year 2025.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Any questions about Lisa's presentation there?
I do have one question. Anything that is surprisingly different in your experience?
I don't think so. That's something that worked pretty closely with department heads earlier in November. Just said, hey, do you see anything odd? We do kind of do a line by line detailed, kind of look at what we've done in the past years. But, you know, as far as in the memorandum, if there was commissioner action earlier, like 4th of July events, tried referencing that memorandum number. If there was a resolution approved, referencing that resolution. But from what I've seen, there's nothing out of the ordinary here.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, I will entertain a motion. Or, yes, Commissioner.
Quick question. I see that Olson Pest Control donated $7,000 to the Summit Center. Is this something they've done in the past or something new?
The holiday concert, I believe, is something new this year. So that is something, that was the Haig Brothers concert.
That was specifically for the Haig Brothers, which we've associated with the Summit. Okay.
Correct. And that was part of the supplement, was putting the expenditure and then putting a little bit of the revenue source. So that's where you'll see that $7,000 plus any ticketed sales. So that's why you will see a little bit of offset in means of finance.
Great. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I see no mics pop on. I will entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
Okay.
I'll do the second.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second on the floor right now. Any more commission discussion? Seeing none. Anyone from the public? Seeing no movement, roll call.
Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling?
Aye.
Hunoff?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Spencer?
Aye.
Benson?
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva?
Aye, motion passes. Number 2, under old business, public hearing for transfer of alcohol license. Consideration of memorandum number 25-222, recommending the City Commission conduct the public hearing and approve the request for the transfer of ownership of retail on-off sale malt beverage and South Dakota farm wine license from owner Ting Wong to owner Ping Zhang, doing business as King Buffet Mongolian Grill, Inc., 3013 Broadway Ave, Suite Number 5, Yankton, South Dakota. This alcohol license is not endorsed with video lottery. Commission, what's your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Commission? Seeing no mics come on. Anyone from the public? Seeing no movement, roll call.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling.
Aye.
Hunoff.
Aye.
Mosier.
Aye.
Spencer.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Birch.
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 3 under old business, public hearing for transfer of alcohol license, consideration of memorandum number 25-223, recommending that the City Commission conduct the public hearing and approve the request for the transfer of location and ownership of package off-sale liquor license from Yankton Drug Company owner Daniel Feeblecorn, 109 West 3rd Street, to Diggers, Inc., owners Larry and Peggy Olson, 511 West 4th Street, Suite D, Yankton, South Dakota, effective January 1st, 2026. Commission, what is your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Commission, any discussion? Seeing no mics come on, anyone from the public? Seeing no movement, roll call.
Sarda.
Aye.
Conkling.
Aye.
Hunoff.
Aye.
Mosier.
Aye.
Spencer.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Birch.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva.
Aye, motion passes. Okay, we're moving into new business. So item number 1 under new business, property plat. Consideration of memorandum number 25-215 regarding resolution number 25-57, a plat of Tract 1, Slowey Addition in the southwest quarter of Section 35, Township 94 North, Range 56 West of the 5th Prime Meridian, Yankton County, South Dakota, Stephen Slowey, owner. Before I do entertain a motion, we'll have some explanation about this, and Brad, or Eric, if you want to come up, whoever would like to come up, please give us an explanation, please. Thank you.
Mayor Villanueva, is it on? Okay. Members of the commission. So yeah, the consideration for the plat is for a plat that is a little over 1 mile west of town on Highway 50. And the plat itself is fairly ubiquitous. It's merely to describe in better detail the Slowey Construction Company that's located out there. The location is it's outside of Yankton's planning and zoning ETJ. It is within the plating jurisdiction, but it's outside of the zoning jurisdiction. So there's really no impact on the decision here tonight with regard to the zoning and land use. Of course, the county will have jurisdiction over that. The only thing that we were taking a look at were the general things that we look at with regard to plats, and that would be the provision of right-of-ways for utilities and roads and so forth, which would, in this case here, would have been on the northern part of the property, because that would be a 16th section line, and otherwise the eastern side of the property would also be considered for right-of-way. We held off on that for now, just because that would mean a connection to South Dakota Highway 50, and the South Dakota DOT would require further study on that connection, and so leave it off for now, and then you address it as something were to come of that, or if there was some development going on.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for the explanation. Also, can you remind us, what is the ETJ? How far out does that go from city limits, just so people know that?
Right. So planning and zoning ETJ is 1 mile from the city boundaries, and then the plating jurisdiction is 3 miles from the city boundaries.
Okay, thank you.
Which is why, that's why you're considering.
Right. Okay. Commission, any questions about that? Yes,
I think
Commissioner.
the ETJ goes right up to where this parcel begins.
Right. Maybe, yeah, just a sliver of it is in there, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, Commission? All right, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor right now. Do we have any more commission discussion? Seeing no mics come on, anyone from the public? Okay, roll call.
Conkling.
Abstain.
Hunoff.
Aye.
Mosier.
Aye.
Spencer.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Birch.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Sarda.
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva.
Aye, motion passes. Okay, item number 2, request for purchase of tarp liner for outdoor hockey rink at Sartoma Park. Consideration of memorandum number 25-216, recommending that the city commission purchase a tarp liner from Iron Sleek, Inc., Addison, Illinois, at an estimated cost of $1,881 plus shipping, and requesting that the city commission approve funding this purchase through the Triple B Fund, which currently maintains a sufficient balance to support the expenditure. Again, before I entertain a motion, Todd, would you mind coming up and giving us some information on this, please?
This was the discussion that started with the Ice Association back in 2017. They had purchased a liner, and we'd used it for the 1 year, and it was damaged in the spring. And so now they, through time, had talked about, well, it'd be nice to have a liner again with the pressure that they have on their indoor ice rink for ice time. And so Mayor Villanueva, City Manager Leone, and myself met with representatives from the Ice Association, and they brought up this tarp and trying to find one. They had looked again to try to find a used one like they did the first time, and they did not have any luck. So this would be a brand new tarp, and if you so approve it, we would order it, and when it gets here, put it down. We are monitoring the weather forecast that seems to go up and down, and so with the little bit of snow we've had, we flooded a little bit to get some slush to freeze, and then we had the melting at the end of last week, and now we had snow again this weekend, but with the melting, so if we can get some snow in there, we'll put some water down and try to get some solid ice with snow in it as a base layer, even before we would lay this tarp down. But I don't have a timeline if and when you approve this, how long it's going to take for us to get this tarp. It is something that they do keep in stock, so I'm hoping it won't be a long time, but anyway, that's where we're at, to just try to help with getting ice on the few weeks of the year over the last few years where we actually get some cold temperatures, and we don't have to worry about water soaking down into the ground because we just aren't getting a solid sheet of ice or any saturation into the ground prior to the freezes. So
What I'm hearing you say, Todd, is that the Parks Department does not control Mother Nature? You can't make
not
that happen?
at this point
Not
in
at this
time.
time, okay,
No.
all right. Well, maybe with AI that'll happen. That seems to be the big thing right now. Yeah, that's right. But no, I appreciate you talking. I think you were speaking to Mr. Terry Haas, and he was here before, so that's great. I think it's really wonderful that we can potentially, if this is approved, help them make a space and a place for people to get out and do some ice skating outside. I think it'd be a lot of fun if we can do that, and I think, like I said, just appreciate them giving them what they need to get the ice done and made, and helping when we can, where we can during business hours, of course, and just trying to make it a wonderful place. So, Commission, any questions for Todd? Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
Todd, maybe I was on the Parks Board. I just want to clarify. I feel like we've talked about this liner before, and some of the hesitancy, or maybe why we didn't replace it or got more, is in that melting stage. Is there some slippage or something like that? Or was there issue with safety or something that we talked? I'm just trying to recall. I know we've had this discussion before.
So again, there is back in time with the liner. Liners work best if you have an outdoor, even in the outdoors, you have a refrigerated unit where you're getting ice from the bottom up. So what we're trying to do, if you think about this, is get ice from the top down using the outdoor air temperatures. So that first tarp, and again, the guy, when I talked to him on the Iron Sleek on the phone, some of the things that we had talked about, problems that we had the first time, he brought up also. So again, when you put this tarp down, think of a glass of ice water. You have cubes in it. So anytime, and again, this is a little bit of education for the public, everybody thinks as soon as it's 31 degrees, we should be able to get ice. That is not the case. I would recommend 15-degree air temperatures and below. Sioux Falls goes with 25, but again, some of it has to do with where their rinks are located, if there's a hill or trees to provide some shade. Where ours is located out in the sun, if you get temperatures above 20 degrees and it's sunny, we will get melting around the boards because even painted white, there's enough heat generated in the winter. So think of a glass with ice cubes in it. So when we get melting, the water is going to run through cracks and run down the edges, and now we're going to have water underneath our sheet of ice, and it's going to get lifted up like an ice cube. So again, talking through, the Ice Association is hoping we could get multiple years out of this tarp. I'm not sure that is going to be the case. We'll try our best, but they're willing to say when you talk to them on the phone and they're selling you this is that, you know, you're going to get the ice going up and down a little bit so you can have a chance to tear and cut open the tarp. At that point, skates along the edge of the board. If you have any of the plastic up above that's exposed, skates can cut it. Hockey pucks hitting it real hard, ice going up and down. Again, we try not to get equipment on for the most part, but we will have to have some snow removal, but you might have to be really careful and not take shovels and or lightweight snow removal equipment even up to the board, because again, if you have any areas where that tarp is showing, anything can catch it, rip it, tear it, and that's where you're going to have trouble. So those were some of the things we ran into the first time. Sioux Falls, as a city, had tried tarps. They've gone away from it, and now, of course, they have the ribbon downtown, which again is an outdoor refrigerated ice from the bottom up. But again, where we have our ice rink located is not great for us because we don't have hills, shade, providing shade, trees, providing shade, so we're at the mercy of the sun, even in the winter. So those are some of the things that we'll be up against, even if we get the liner, but we'll do our best.
Do you, I guess this question is for you, Todd, do you feel, so I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly, do you like the idea of the liner? Do you not like the idea of the liner? Just want to make sure, like.
The liner will help us from keeping water to soaking down into the ground. Now, whether it's going to help us make great ice is up for debate. And again, that is all at the mercy of what kind of air temperatures do we have,
Right.
how much sun do we have, when the sun's out, what are the air temperatures, and those type of things. So again, it's going to help us because we don't have to worry about that water soaking down into the ground. It's actually going to get caught and not go anywhere, and we can get it to refreeze. But again, just like on a lake or anywhere else, you can get some cracks and you can get hollow spots, and that's not going to change with the liner. So we're still going to have to be out there doing some maintenance during the day to break out the hollow spots and fill back in with water and do some of those type of things. But again, we're not going to lose that water. So the positive is hopefully when we get the refreeze, now the water's there,
Right.
it didn't go down into the ground, and we can get back to a decent sheet of ice.
Okay.
But again, that's all really dependent on outside air temperatures and sun and the weather. So-
Okay, and I want to ask about the safety concern. Is there a safety concern? Because I mean, we are making ice, and it's obviously inherently slippery. So what is the safety concern then, or is there one?
No, not necessarily a safety concern. It was more of people, it's more of the, again, even the mindset, we have people already calling us asking why we don't have ice or why we haven't made ice yet at that rink. We have not had the air temperatures to even try it. Like I said, we're using the snow to water and make slush, but no, safety-wise, again, whether you have the tarp or you don't have the tarp, unless you're making ice from the bottom up, we're going to get those air pockets and have to do some breaking of those and filling in with water. Again, without the refrigeration coming up from the bottom, we're going to get cracking, and there'll be some cracking. And again, when we flood, you got to get stuff filled back in and freeze. So none of that is strange to those that make outdoor ice. That's a part of it. So no, safety-wise, we're not much different than what we would be even if we didn't have the tarp. Those are things that we battle, whether the water's soaking down into the ground and trying to refreeze, or we got a tarp now to catch it and it's going to refreeze.
Okay, all right, thank you. And then, yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
Just a quick question on that. Do we, to protect that liner, or have you talked about, or do we ever post signs that say the rink is closed if it gets too slushy or not enough ice to support being in there so people aren't skating or trying to skate on water and ripping that tarp? I'm trying to picture ahead, how does that look?
Yeah, so if we get the tarp down this year, if you would approve it to buy it, and we do get a tarp down, as we get towards spring, and again, not even necessarily spring, as we get through the month of February, because that, in reality, the last few years, end of January, beginning of February has been our window. At one time, we were always trying to have ice prior to Christmas break. Well, again, I got the phone and I got the computer, so I'm watching a 10-day forecast, I'm watching the 30-day forecast, and right now, we don't have more than 2 or 3 days at a time where we're below 32 degrees at any one spot. And then you got 2 or 3 or 4 days of 30 to 40s, and that's that way through now, January 1. So again, we've got forecasts for cold and some snow, but not consistent. So once we get the liner down, as we get into February, it'll be a matter of watching the forecast, and as soon as we know there's going to be some serious melting, yes, we'll have to get cones and signs up so people know that the season is over and we can't have you in there, because if we're trying to save the tarp the best we can to reuse it next year, yeah, we don't want people in there with shoes, skates, or anything else messing around.
Good question, Commissioner.
Todd, what's the liner guy say? Is it 2-inch depth water on top of the tarp, did he say?
Well, it really has to do with your, so again, we have a grass sod layer. Other times, other rinks will dig down, remove sod, and put in either the red type chip gravel that they use on roads, or in our case, we have available to us is the crushed concrete asphalt that you could actually get in and blade and try to make it as flat as possible. But again, it all depends on how flat it is and what you have for dips and humps. And so, yes, don't need much more than 2 inches of water at most, but you've got to get over the highest hump to start figuring out where that 2-inch depth's going to be, if you even need to get to that. So.
Okay, Commissioner, go ahead.
I've got just a quick question. We're talking about a tarp system, or we're talking about a refrigeration system. Just so everybody's aware, what would a refrigeration system cost for an outdoor rink such as that?
We've done a little bit of research, so don't quote me on this. You can buy them or you can rent them, but I think you're looking at upwards of $60,000 to start. And again, I'm not sure that we would want to own our own, but we would have to talk about that more. So you'd maybe looking at a rental system. So again, you're going to be probably, when it's all said and done, you're probably pushing $100,000 to start that conversation of if we were going to have it. Again, what they will tell you is, with ice being made from the bottom up, again, without extreme warm weather in the winter, similar to an outdoor pool, you got a 3-month window of 90 days, 70 to 90 days, where you can have ice, since it's being made from the bottom up. Since you've got refrigerated on the bottom, even that sun, you'll get a little bit of water melting on the top, but it's not like when you're trying to do like we're doing with making ice from the top down. But it's expensive. And again, they'll start to talk to you. Dave Spencer would be very familiar with this. Indoor ice rink, selling sponsorships, skate rentals, concessions. So they love the idea of outdoor skating. It's a completely different experience than what you get indoors. And people that grew up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, anywhere that could skate outdoors, they'll tell you, we love skating outdoors. We'd rather skate outdoors. And the company will tell you that. It's a great experience. You'll have a longer season than you trying to make ice from the top down. But can we get sponsorships? What will you have for rentals? Can you really have concessions without having a building right there? So there's a lot of things that would need to go into that discussion if we were going to talk about trying to have a refrigerated unit outside making ice from the bottom up.
And we're looking to try to if we are to do this, we're looking to concentrate our energies to that ice rink there at Saratoga and not do the Trip Park. like
Yeah, we have
has been done
similar
in the
issues.
past.
Similar issue over at Trip. If we we got a little bit more shade over there. Unfortunately, it drops pine needles, so that's not great for us, but we have a little bit more shade over there. The issue we run into there is right now we keep a fairly flat surface. And in the past years, when we were able to get ice and we had a little bit colder temperatures, we would use snow to build up a ridge around to hold in our water when we're trying to flood. So this year, maybe we'd have a chance. But when we're trying to flood in years where there's no snow, we don't have an edge to withhold. It not only soaks down into the ground, but it runs away before we can get it to freeze too. So if we were going to try to have outdoor ice at Trip without a snowy year, we probably would need to start looking into getting whatever type of 12-inch high boards. You're not playing hockey in it, really. It's just meant to go around, create a circle or an oval, and hold your water in when we're trying to flood. Similar concept. You got to get water to start at whatever your highest crown is in that surface. And then once you have your water frozen to that point, now you can start making your skatable surface. But you always got to get to your highest point, whether you got a tarp under there or it's just regular grass sod surface. So.
Commissioner Spencer, do you have another
Yeah,
question?
I'm going to give you a little bit of background information on outdoor ice, and I'm going to lead on to what they've done in Norfolk, Nebraska, and we might want to check out what they've done. But prior to the indoor rink getting built, to prove the point outdoor ice wouldn't work, the original rink was started in 2000 out in Sartoma, and in 5 years there was a total of 32 days of outdoor ice over a 5-year period, and one of those years was 0. We actually took a picture of one of our skaters, and the grass was green in February. I mean, I don't know what the climate control or climate change was going on or what, but it was bizarre from 2000 to 2005. But I would encourage us to look at Norfolk. They did a major renovation of one of their parks along the North Fork of the Elkhorn River, if you want to know why it's called North Fork. And does have artificial refrigerated ice outdoors on a smaller, probably smaller than our Sartoma Park, Todd, but close to the same size. And it was met with great success. Now, they don't have indoor ice, but it was refrigerated, and the city did fund that project. So if we ever want to look at that as another thing for quality of life, and maybe it's not Sartoma Park or it's somewhere down at the Riverside Park or something. I mean, there's a ton of refrigerated outdoor ice in metro areas that, the rail yard in Lincoln, Nebraska has got one. It's there from now till March. And their weather's quite warmer than ours is. It's just 3 hours south here. So we have one close by if we ever want to check it out further.
Okay. Any other questions, Commission?
I've got just one
Yes,
last
good.
thing, and that is if the weather is too warm, there is an indoor rink in town that the Yankton Area Ice Association has, and they have open skates, and you can check on their website, YanktonAreaIce.org. Check on their websites and be able to skate, free skate. It's not free, there's a fee to it, but open skate. And it's a great time. Thanks.
Sounds like a good time. Okay, any other questions, Commission? Seeing no mics come on then, do we have a motion then?
I'll make a motion to approve the $1,881 plus shipping for the tarp.
I would second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any more Commission discussion?
The only thing I would say is, if it doesn't work or it gets destroyed again, I think we should just look into something more permanent. It's going to be more expensive, but there's no sense in doing this year
Right.
after year after year.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner. Okay, any more discussion? Okay. Anyone from the, roll call?
Hanoff,
Aye.
Mosier,
Aye.
Spencer,
Aye.
Benson,
Aye.
Birch,
Aye.
Brunick,
Aye.
Sarda,
Aye.
Conkling,
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva.
Aye, motion passes. Okay, item number 3. Thank you, Todd. Item number 3, under the contract for legal services, AFFF and PFAS litigation. Consideration of memorandum number 25-217, the recommendation by the city attorney that the commission authorize and direct city manager to execute the attached contract for legal services with Stagg Louisa LLC, so the city can timely obtain settlement-compliant raw water testing of its water system wells at no upfront cost to the city. And then number 2, if eligible, based on those results, pursue recovery of settlement funds under the national PFAS settlements. And so, Ross, I am going to have you explain this before I also entertain a motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, Commissioners. For those who aren't familiar, PFAS is a chemical created by a number of different chemical manufacturers, but it's in a lot of different consumer-based items. Like you might have heard of it as forever chemicals. It's Teflon, firefighting foam, and things of that nature. But it is being now considered kind of a pollutant, and there's been national class action litigation against the primary manufacturers, principally 3M, DuPont, BFAS, and things of that, companies of that nature. And there were settlements reached that apply specifically to drinking water source raw water, so well water, things of that nature. So in areas of the country where that chemical has been found to have accumulated and essentially polluted, those drinking water systems may be eligible to participate in those settlement funds that have been set aside. The City of Yankton is not aware whether we have any of that present. In fact, we are probably pessimistic that we do. But if we want to participate in that, we have to test our water in the proper way. And if those chemicals are found to exist in measurable quantities, then we have to go through their complicated claims process to obtain a share of those settlements. So in order to investigate this, we've reached out to a law firm called Stagg Liuzza. They're an environmental law firm that is playing a leadership role in these litigations. They represent rural water systems, public water system cities from 30 states all over the country as part of testing water and navigating that process. And they are willing to investigate Yankton's raw water. They'll test our water at no cost to the city, and if these chemicals are found in our raw water sources, they will pursue participation in the settlements, procure some money for the city. So I do not want to give the impression that we believe we have polluted water. I want to be very clear about that. But they will simply handle this process for the city, determine if we do have it, and then if we do, they will help us pursue recovery of some funds, because at some point, the EPA will require that to be removed from water, probably within the next 5 years. So that is the purpose of the contract.
Okay. Thank you, Ross. And so just want to reiterate, in no way, shape, or form are we saying that our water is polluted. But with that, any questions for Ross, Commission? Okay, seeing the lights come on, then do I have a motion then to pursue this?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor right now. Do we have any other discussion before we vote? Anyone from the public? Seeing no movement, roll call.
Mosier?
Aye.
Spencer?
Aye.
Benson?
Aye.
Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling?
Aye.
Hanoff?
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva?
Aye, motion passes. Number 4, review of the city's recycling program. Consideration of memorandum number 25-218, recommending that the city commission review the recycling overview 2025 report and provide feedback or direction to staff regarding any specific areas of the operation the commission would like to further evaluate, and provide direction regarding any changes that we would like to see relating to the city's recycling program. And once again, before we entertain a motion, Adam, would you come up to the mic and kind of explain this a little bit, please?
Yeah, and Mayor, both Adam and I worked on this
Okay,
along
perfect.
with Lisa in case there's financial questions. So I'll tee it off, and as we visit, we might volley some questions back and forth. So as you recall, the commission asked to have a little research done on the recycling program. We put together a very broad overview of the recycling program, not knowing how much commissioners knew about the history of our recycling program and how we got to where we are today. And so we put together that history from prior to 2017 when we worked with Joint Powers and recycled, having our customers sort at the curb, till 2017 when we made the change in our recycling program. At that time, we made a change to our solid waste program as well. So you'll recall the days of the round garbage cans blowing around in the cul-de-sacs, and we changed to the roll carts. And so we changed our solid waste program to the roll carts and then also to single stream recycling with the red roll carts for recycling at that time. So at that time as well, we also changed our operations to be, I guess, semi-automated. So we weren't throwing what we called throwing cans anymore, which was both more efficient, but also by means helpful for our employees to alleviate some of their injuries and things. Got to be a kind of a hard job at times and hard on bodies, especially after a number of years of doing that. So when we went to single stream recycling, that was something that our partner in Joint Powers, City of Vermillion, chose not to do. So if we were going to take that route, that was something that we needed to pay for independently. And the commission at that time, who sat where you are today, decided that they wanted to, in fact, do that. And so we moved to single stream recycling, and our whole community pays for recycling, regardless of whether you recycle or not. You're not required to recycle. One of the things we can't tell you is how many people recycle or how much do people recycle. We have total tons, but all we can tell you is just sort of what we see. We don't have any data without actually studying it. So when I look up and down my street, it looks like the folks with families tend to recycle more, and maybe that's just because they have more product. Some folks recycle more in the summer, or some people around more the holidays because they have more boxes. Some people don't recycle at all. We have had some people say, pick up my red can, I'm not going to recycle. You know, if you're a single person living in a home, you may not have that much material. Also, some folks don't recycle because they don't want to have the two big carts in their garage, or they don't have a garage. So that's also comes into play. Why people do recycle? Some people feel like environmentally it's the right thing to do, and they want to do that. There is some discussion surrounding that as well, because as you'll read in the report, once we pick up the recycling, we take it to our transfer station, and then we load it into our semis, and then it's driven to Sioux Falls to a recycling center called Millennium. And we have to pay to drop our recycling off at Millennium, and then we drive the semi back to Yankton. So what we believe what they do is they sell our product, and we don't have any control over what they do with it or don't do with it, but we provide it to them. We're really dependent upon Millennium. If they would quit providing that service to us, even though we're paying for that service, we'd have to pretty rapidly find somewhere else to do. We think we have options, but they may be further away. Millennium has increased their rate for recyclables, and so that could continue to change. They've also changed products, what they will accept, and they could continue to do that. We're not alone in that. We've also included in this very broad, and I'll keep saying that, very broad report, that a lot of communities in South Dakota bring their recycling to Millennium. In fact, I think I can't really think of anyone who doesn't unless they don't recycle. So most are bringing their product to Millennium. So some communities do require recycling, but most of those communities are communities that don't have public, meaning the city doesn't pick up their garbage. They require their private haulers to require recycling. So we've checked some cities, as you see there. We have not called, obviously, all cities, but other cities recycle differently. We have, because we are not, we're doing this independently of joint powers, we're paying for all of the recycling equipment, the recycling trucks out of our own city budget. We're not, those aren't joint powers expenses. And so that is something that maybe not everybody realizes. So whether you recycle or not, that fee is part of your utility bill, and that goes to help fund and offset the cost. You know, I've been asked, you know, how much does it cost to recycle? And that's hard to it's a hard question for me to answer. How much does it cost per customer? How much does it cost the community? It depends upon how you slice that pie. So we can talk about that a little bit as people have questions. I wasn't really exactly sure in the evaluation what specifics the commission is looking for. Are you looking for, you know, ways to cut costs? Are you looking for better understanding how we got where we are, why we do this the way we do, why we don't recycle with Vermilion anymore, or what the history was there? I did offer some considerations as we go forward into 2026, especially with knowing our sales tax isn't maybe as strong as we would like it to be, not just in this department, but this and others. I think if there's areas where we're giving things away for free to folks that may or may not be our citizens, I think that we should talk about that, or you should talk about that and consider that. So right now, if you live outside city limits and the transfer station open and you want to drop off your recycling, you can drive to the transfer station and do that, drop it off, and drive away. And our guys, you know, put it in the trailers and take it to Millennium. Well, there's labor charge in that, and there's some work involved in that. Commercial people can do that as well. That could be a lot of material at times. So do you want to stop doing that for free? Do you want to charge that? There's a potential revenue source, and we're not going to get rich off of that, but that might offset some cost. There is a recycling trailer at the after hours grass drop off. People do use that, you know. Some of our residents use that for sure. Some of those folks aren't our residents. There's a lot of labor that goes into every weekend addressing that, and that sometimes is used properly and sometimes is not used properly. So, I mean, if that is the type of information or type of I guess recommendations you're looking for, those are kind of launching pads, I guess. But I just wanted to bring forward a very general look at this and see what questions you had about the information we provided, and see sort of what direction you want to take this, understanding that we may need to dig a little deeper depending upon what you say tonight.
I had a quick question. As we starting this recycling program, I know it was a really, really big deal to not have things intermingled with recycling. Have we seen that issue kind of go down so that way we don't have loads rejected? Has that gotten better?
Overall, I would say our single stream recycling is clean. We have good staff that police that really well when they're picking it up curbside, as well as at the transfer station. If they're over by that recycle drop-off area, they can police that as well. But for the most part, when we get reports back from Millennium, our recycling is very clean.
Good.
Single stream wise.
Good to hear. Okay, Commissioner, go ahead.
Do we usually haul a load to Millennium about once a week, or what's the average?
On average, it's once a week. Sometimes there's 2 loads a week. is, on average, I'd say it's once a week.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
So I was one of the ones that asked to have this put on. I'm trying to look at it from a cost perspective, just to help the citizens. So if it's not too much trouble, I'd like to get an idea of what it costs the community in a year for single stream. Also, if we were to eliminate single stream, does that affect any jobs with the city? Do we have to eliminate a few positions? And then in the single stream, we recycle glass, correct?
Correct.
We do.
And I know glass is a tough one for recycling. Would we save money if we eliminated recycling glass?
So when we began this process in 2017, there was different rates at Millennium for glass versus glass-free. That is no longer the case. It's all just one rate. So it would not make a difference if glass was cut out. It would lighten the load, but the rate would be the same. Yeah.
So just to clarify, are you saying if we recycled, the cost of recycling, if we were to recycle curbside the way we used to, or just eliminated recycling?
Well, if we do it curbside, we still have to take it to Millennium, correct?
Well, when we used to curbside recycle, we took it to product to Vermilion.
So I guess I'm looking for options. Is there, and I don't want to make it too complex, but if we eliminated single stream, what would it save us? If we changed and went to curbside, what would the effect be on the taxpayer and the employees? Just to get an idea, so maybe we can make an informed choice.
So when it was source separated, which is what the previous method was, where the resident had to place it at the curb separated, paper, plastic, tin, aluminum, whatnot. That all went to joint powers. That was processed. Some of that product was processed and handled in Yankton. We baled cardboard in Yankton. We baled paper in Yankton. That was brokered and picked up by haulers directly here at Yankton. That we had to handle that material. Plastics, tin and aluminum, glass, that all went to Vermilion. Vermilion separated number 1 and 2 plastics because we accepted them commingled. Vermilion separates number 1 and number 2 plastics. They bale those. They broker that at their location. Tin and aluminum, we accepted that together, commingled. Vermilion separated tin and aluminum. My understanding, that material came back to Yankton Metals. I don't know if it still does or not. So there is associated costs going back to the previous method. There is old joint powers reports that could be studied to determine, what we were spending to do that method. We have the current single stream method cost. Probably would take the same amount of staff going one versus the other. Like I said, if we went back to the previous method, you would still have to have staff to handle that product, process it, whatnot. Trips to Vermilion. Plastics were their own trip to Vermilion. We had an extra semi-trailer that we would load once we had a fair amount of plastics and glass, tin and aluminum to get a full load over to Vermilion. We'd take that to Vermilion, unload it there, bring back empty Gaylord boxes so we'd have more to put additional product in as it comes in.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So no, that's okay. That's great. I guess for Amy, just so I'm looking at it from the bottom line, without having to eliminate any staff members. I don't want to put anybody out of a job, but if there's a way we can make changes that will lower the cost for the taxpayers, I'm all for that.
That cost would just come out of their city utility bill for solid, right, for garbage?
For solid waste right now, because we're paying, the Yankton citizens are paying entirely for our recycling because we're not in partnership with Joint Powers since they didn't want to move to a single stream. So, there might be some ways we can talk about, but it might impact service, I suggest that, perhaps we don't, we could change the level of service. We're picking up recycling twice a month now. Maybe there would be a change of level of service. But if we did that too, we have to always remember too that the cost of the things that we buy for the recycling would also go up. So for those of commissioners that have served on Joint Powers, regardless of how we've done recycling, whether we're talking just about Yankton's recycling or recycling from a sorted and curbside sorted and working that way, the more that recycling is done, the more expense there is. So the more we recycle, the more money we spend, whether we're doing it independently or we're doing it with joint powers. So, then it becomes the question of, do you do it because it's the right thing to do? And for the environmental reasons, that's the question that 9 commissioners make and the community makes, and that's our question. But we can try to drill down on some numbers to help make that easier to understand. But it is, we'll have to talk a little bit about, are there ways we can cut that down? Because everybody's paying now whether we're recycling or not, whether they're recycling or not.
I'd like to add on to City Manager Leon's thought process with, it's not just the day-to-day operational costs, it's also the capital costs. Like what's a brand new specific garbage truck. So in the report, the average cost of recycling on a utility bill account is between $6 and $7 per month. In 2025, we have 4,682 residential accounts that are paying towards recycling. So that's just around $400,000 that we're accounting towards as a revenue source towards recycling. So, but there's certain aspects where it's hard to tell how much recycling costs are involved, because if you piece out some of the labor that we may not have thought of and included, it does add up quickly. There's also different costs that, price of fuel, costs that are kind of out of our control that we got to consider as well.
Thank you.
To answer your question, Commissioner Soto?
Yeah, I guess the other part, that Joint Powers lost 321,000, right? That's not going to go away no matter what we do. We're still paying for that as a community too. So that to me, that's almost harder to fathom.
Yes, that's
a hard one.
That's true. I mean, we're still a part of Joint Powers, so we're still Yankton is still in that. It's a marriage, and we're still paying for the whole operation of Joint Powers, which includes Vermilion Recycling, even though our recycling is separate. So there's a subsidy that's happening there. And at the time, the commission chose the convenience of the single stream recycling as a service because the community wanted it. And so that's just, to be transparent, that's what we did. But yes, that's true. Joint Powers has got its own finances to consider, and that's a difficult thing. There isn't a lot of money in selling cardboard and tin, or we'd all be doing it.
Commissioner Spencer, go ahead.
Yeah, so Amy, in your report here, you have a number, average cost for curbside pickup is $245,000 per year. Is that accurate? Does that include the tipping fees at the Millennium? And that looks like that's another $32,000? Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
We're collecting $400,000 in bills from our.
Yeah, that $245,000 a year is for curbside pickup, involves the labor for the solid waste collections
Sure,
part.
and on top of that, you have it looks like you also have your trips to Sioux Falls in there.
Correct. That does not include the $245,000. That's only, the $245,000 estimate was primarily for the curbside component. And that's just for our city staff to go door to door picking up the red cans.
Okay, well, in your paragraph, you have the average cost for one trip to Sioux Falls, 167 miles, 5 hours. I mean, I guess the question is, what is the total cost, including the fees that paid to Millennium? And is it much more than $400,000? Because that's what we're collecting from the residents? Is that a wash, kind of, or?
That's what we estimated, but there are certain costs that we did not technically record because it does, some of the staff time is included with the regular solid waste program. So that's something that we do have.
Yeah, so some of our
Cards,
staff
but-
works, at the transfer station, and sometimes they're handling solid waste, and sometimes they're handling recycling, so we didn't split them.
So do you get a lot of complaints from people saying they don't want to pay the $6 to $7 a month for the recycling part of their solid waste bill? I don't hear that complaint in the community, but.
I wouldn't say a lot. We get some. We get some people that just say, I don't recycle. I don't want to
Sure.
recycle, come pick up a can.
Sure.
But-
I see a lot of red cans out, so I think people, consciously don't mind recycling. So I don't know if it's a moot point or just if it's a wash, if we're not losing a ton of money doing it. I know there's no money in some of those recyclables. If you could just do the metal, you'd be great. But I don't know if that's what we want to do. But I just thought the numbers, maybe like Commissioner Conklin said, can we get a firm number? I know you can't get everything right, but the tipping fees to them plus whatever estimate we have here, is it break even? Is it in the hole real bad or not? It doesn't seem like, initially, it's not a big cost net number.
Okay, Commissioner Spencer, thank you. Commissioner Conklin, do you have something else?
Well, I just want to, off of what Dave or Commissioner Spencer said, I don't think people complain about the recycling fee, but they're definitely complaining about their utility fees. And that's where I'm looking at it from as a whole, not just can we do anything to reduce their overall fee? And so we've got to know the numbers before we can make any decisions. So Dave, Commissioner Spencer's right. If there's any way we can get a more accurate number. And Adam, I don't expect you to go back to before single stream and dig through a whole bunch of old bills and find that out. I don't think that's worth your time.
Lisa, do you have something?
I'd like to point out we have about over 5,500 utility accounts. So there's about 1,000, just under 1,000 utility accounts that are considered commercial that have the option to pay for a solid waste account. So bear in mind, there are several commercial users that are able to drop off recycling for free as well that are not paying towards a solid waste recycling program.
Maybe we need to look at that.
And one of the things that I would like to add to real quick, if I could, is having a larger family, we recycle as much as we possibly can. We just do. We just think we feel that it's great for the environment, and we do our part, try to do our part. With that being said, our red can is plumb full. And so my other question would be then, what would that cost? I mean, we chose to have a larger family, thus producing more garbage. With that being said, then we would probably have to get another can. I mean, that's wonderful for the city because I'd be paying for an extra can, but that's also then, I want that to be figured into an extra cost and also then for the citizen as well. Commissioner, go ahead.
I like to just add that it's an awful darn good convenience, the recycling, compared to what it was before when we were dividing everything out. I'm in the same boat that you are, Mayor. I have 3 boys at home. I have 2 now because one of them's at college, but we fill those up. And one of the other things that we do, we're talking about maybe having a fee at the transfer station. I use the transfer station drop off quite a bit, and one of the big things that I use the transfer station for is cardboard. It's the bulky items that I can take it there instead of trying to jam it all into that red can, and then it makes it difficult for that can to then be tipped because I've crammed the thing tight, and now all of a sudden we're having employees trying to get that material out. I guess I'm in favor of the recycling. I think it's a quality of life thing in our community. I think it's awfully convenient. I understand that there's people that don't do it, and it doesn't make sense for everybody, but I think on a whole, it makes sense for the community. That's just my personal viewpoint.
Sure. Yes, Commissioner, go ahead.
One of the things I found interesting in the report, and this is just an observation, is that 2 of the 7 communities don't do any municipal solid waste pickup. I didn't realize that many communities did that.
I can say from living elsewhere, where it was a private pickup, it's awful nice having it be municipal. It's just to have something that you know is going to be taken care of and taken care of well. I think it's a real convenience and an asset to the community.
Drilling down on the number sounds like it would be, we would go back in the time log of our timekeeping system, UKG, and going through each employee's at the transfer station and who works solid waste, their time clock or time log, and separating when they did recycling and when they were doing solid waste duties or transfer station joint powers duties, and separating that, and to try to pin down a little bit better of a number. And we're happy to do that if the commission wants us to do that. If there's only, I mean, if there's one of you who wants that, is that where you want us to spend our time?
Sure. Okay, well, that comes at a cost too. So then how far are we digging, I guess, then is the question.
But I don't think that is a good use of time. If we can just get a pretty good number of what it costs for all the trips back and forth to Millennium, and then the fees and the gas and, you know, all that materialistic stuff, I think that's a waste of the city manager and finance and Adam's time. I just personally think it's a waste of time digging into all of that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so does that clarify that, City Manager Leon?
I'd like to add something. So
Go ahead, Commissioner.
the recycling's going to cost, right? Whether you save $1 or $2, it's right now it's $7 a person.
That's correct.
The whole percentage of our city bill, I think what people might be complaining about is the water, the wastewater. That has all gone up a lot, right? Is that the real complaint? Because recycling's not broken out, so people really don't know what they're paying for recycling. This shows that, but is it the whole bill or is it recycling that we're worried about? Because the whole bill's gone up just because of the improvements we've done, right? In the whole city, which are needed, and everyone else is going to catch up to that. All the other cities will catch up to that sooner or later, but is recycling really the complaint? Well, I don't think it is. I don't know that it's worth going down this whole. It's going to cost something, but I don't know that that's really what everybody's voicing their opinion on. Are they?
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Well, I think you have to look at it as a whole. Because we've had to make improvements in the water and the sewer, those have gone up. So we obviously can't cut those. If there's a way, and I don't know how to approach this tactfully, but I think most of us are in a pretty good position financially. There are a lot of people out there that are struggling. So to them, $6 or $7 a month adds up over time. So I'm just saying, looking at this as, is this a possible way we can do something to maybe take a little bit of the pressure off, knowing that we can't do anything about the water and the sewer? Is this an avenue to save a little money and to help people out?
Well, I do think the discussion is good. I think we've identified some areas where maybe we can do some collection. You mentioned about outside of the city limits, people dumping, stuff like that, or whatever that looks like, but just other means of to collect potentially another fee.
Yeah, we can also charge, for example, commercial folks that drop off recycling, we can create a fee for that. I mean, the commission would have to set the fee, but, you know, I don't know that it's good practice to give away a service without charging for a service, even though environmentally it might be a good thing to do. I don't know that it's good financial business to do. So, maybe that can help offset, and then maybe we wouldn't have to continue to increase as much if we can find ways to charge for services that for non-residents. So we can also come up with some ideas there. So staff will go back if it's pleases the commission, mayor, get some more numbers together, and then perhaps come up with some fees for some things that for non-city residents associated with recycling that we're not collecting now, and commercial vendors. We'll see what other communities might be charging and come up with some fees for you to consider in the new year.
So what I was just discussing with Ross about is, to me, it seems like we're really not going to have action on this item. It's more of a discussion. So maybe there needs to be a broader discussion. Maybe should we come back and maybe have it be a workshop in the new year? And would that be something the commission would be in favor of to talk about? Okay. So then that's what commissioners, are you all okay with that? Okay, so we'll turn this into a workshop at some point then in the new year. Just let us know when you think that.
We'll start working on get some information, and we can schedule something.
Okay. Okay, so then we won't take action then on that, the number 4. We just had that nice robust discussion. Okay. I just want to make sure we're doing that right. Okay, so then we'll go ahead and move on then to item number 5, which will be the base salary adjustment and step plan and paid parental leave for FOP represented members. Consideration of memorandum number 25-219, recommending the City Commission approve resolution number 25-59, authorizing the city manager to implement a base adjustment of 0.60% and a one-step increase on the pay plan effective January 1st, 2026 for all regular certified law enforcement employees that are below the maximum of their respective pay range. It is further recommended that the City Commission approve resolution number 25-60, authorizing the city manager to implement paid parental leave for all regular certified law enforcement employees represented under the FOP contract. And again, before I take a motion, I'm going to have Amy go ahead and
Honorable Mayor, members of the commission, as you know, our certified law officers, many of them are represented by the Fraternal Order of Police, and we are ongoing with them in negotiating a contract. Part of that contract is wages, and we are discussing paid parental leave with them. We know that we won't do anything less than what we've considered for our other employee union, our civilian union, which is the ASME union, the American State Federation of State, County, and Federal County Municipal Employees. So this is equivalent to that. They're on a different pay range and plan, so that's why the number looks a little different, but financially equivalent to that, as well as the same paid parental leave. This is not saying that we're done negotiating. The negotiation is still open. We're still acting under the current contract. But what I was really concerned with is going into the new year, our officers not having an increase in their wages, at least equivalent to what everyone else is, if the next action passes, is going to receive, and not having the paid parental leave, knowing the personal situations of some of our officers and our officers' partners, wanting them to have access to that, which I think is a really generous benefit that we've talked about for our employees. And so we've discussed with somebody that has some expertise in legal, in labor law, can we offer this without having our negotiation finalized? And in fact, they indicated we could. What we needed to do is let the FOP know we were going to do this unless they told us no by date certain. So that's what we did. We brought it to them in writing and said, this is what we'd like to do. We'll be bringing it forward to the commission on December 8th unless you tell us no, understanding that we know we're still needing to finalize a contract with you. And we did not hear from them that they did not want us to do this. So I'm taking that as a yes, that they're okay with us doing this, with the understanding that we're still open to negotiate and open to move forward with that. And we're operating under our current contract with these two exceptions and still open for negotiation. So your action tonight would mean that as of January 1, this would change their salary rate as well as provide them with the paid parental leave. We would be coming back to you and at a future date with their with a tentative agreement for a contract once negotiated, and then if something were to change here, we would also be coming back to you with that explanation.
Okay, thanks for that explanation, City Manager Leon. Ross, do you have something?
I'd just like to also add, the attorney for the FOP did shoot me a two-word email response saying no objection. So it was not the clearest response, but I did take that to mean that the union is not objecting to this.
Okay. Commissioner, go ahead.
I'm curious if the staff have any kind of a estimate on what the cost will be of the paid parental leave benefit. And also, I wanted to ask, what is the percent value of a one-step increase?
Well, the police steps, the police steps are different than our civilian steps. The police steps are 2.6%. So they're double, essentially, what our non-certified police steps are. And we did that for a couple reasons. One, as you know, law enforcement officers are really hard to attract, and we know that law enforcement officers are hard to keep as well, and so we want to move them along in the ranges as quickly as we can. In terms of the paid parental leave, the value of that, I guess, depends upon their wage, but we are doing, I believe, 120 hours of paid leave. So the officers work 12-hour shifts. So for us that are 8-hour shift people, that's 3 weeks. For them, it'll be different, but we want to keep that equivalent among folks. But we do know of several folks, without providing any personal information, that will be enjoying that benefit because of changes in their families. So, just because we haven't had an opportunity to get a response from them, I don't want to take that away from a family to have some time together, and I just want to make sure that opportunity's there. So, if the commission feels that's appropriate.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner, go ahead.
No, I'm not suggesting it's not a good benefit to provide. I'm just curious if we have any kind of an idea what it will cost. When we talk about whether we're going to declare a holiday, a city holiday, we always have a cost.
So, I guess I'd have to come back with that with the individual's wages that and multiply that by 120 hours, and I presume everyone will that I understand is expecting will take advantage of leave, and I would have to come back with their wage times 120, but I don't think it'll be a huge amount of money. It seems like when we have changes, though, in the city, it seems like they all happen at once with families. I think we have, I would say, a handful. When we calculated this and talked about it, sometimes we have, I would say, between 5 and 10 new 5 and 10 babies, I guess, a year at the city, depending upon the year. This year we have one employee that's going to double up, and we're excited about that. But you do only get to use that for one birth event. So That's how that works. But between, I would say, 5 and 10, it just seems all to happen at once when it happens. I don't know why that is. I think it's the water, but I'm going to say that, and then next year it's going to be 15, but.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
No, I was just going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, we've already approved that for the Ask Me
Yes.
employees. So this is just saying we want the police department to receive the same benefits.
Correct.
That their fellow coworkers are already receiving. So that's
Correct.
already been approved, right?
Correct. I just didn't, wasn't clear on Commissioner Hunhoff's question, so I'm understanding now.
Yeah, very good point, Commissioner Mosier. Okay, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor. Again, any more discussion? Seeing no mics pop on, anyone from the public? Seeing no movement, roll call.
Spencer?
Aye.
Benson? Aye. Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling?
Aye.
Hanoff?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva?
Aye, motion passes. Okay, item number 6, base salary adjustment and step plan and paid parental leave for non-FOP represented members. Consideration of memorandum number 25-220, recommending that the City Commission approve resolution number 25-61, authorizing the city manager to implement a base adjustment of 0.60% and a one-step increase in the pay plan effective January 1st, 2026 for all regular, full-time, non-represented certified law enforcement employees that are below the maximum of their respective pay range. It is also recommended the City Commission approve resolution number 25-62, authorizing the city manager to implement paid parental leave for all regular, non-represented certified law enforcement employees. And again, City Manager Leone, I would ask you to weigh in on this again.
This would be the same thing as your previous action, Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, only for our administration and our non-represented employees, so our sergeants, our captains, assistant chief, and we do at least have one individual who is in that situation and can benefit from that benefit if you would so approve.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? Okay, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. And again, any more commission discussion? Seeing no mics come on. Anyone from the public? Seeing no movement, roll call.
Benson?
Aye.
Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling?
Aye.
Hanoff?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Spencer?
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva?
Aye, motion passes. And again, thank you to our police department for keeping our city safe. Number 7, annual supply of petroleum products for Chain Gurney Airport. Consideration of memorandum number 25-221, recommending that the City Commission award the contract for the city's 2026 supply of petroleum products for the Chain Gurney Municipal Airport to Gerstner Oil for the low bid amounts listed in said memorandum. Commission, what's your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any commission discussion? Seeing no mics pop on, anyone from the public? Roll call.
Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling?
Aye.
Hanoff?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Spencer?
Aye.
Benson?
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva?
Aye, motion passes. Number 8, Adult-Oriented Business License 2026 Renewal. Consideration of memorandum number 25-224, recommending the City Commission approve the Adult-Oriented Business License application from Zebra Club and Cockatoo Bar for the 2026 annual licensing period. Commission, what's your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any commission discussion? Seeing no mics come on, anyone from the public? Seeing no movement, roll call.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling?
Nay.
Hanoff?
No.
Mosier?
Aye.
Spencer?
Aye.
Benson?
Aye.
Birch?
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva?
Aye, motion passes. Okay, number 9, under new business, alcohol license application, consideration of memorandum number 25-227, recommending that the city commission approve the application for a special on-sale liquor license for one day, December 13th, 2025, from Mojo's 3rd Street Pizza, 104 East 3rd Street, Yankton. The event will take place at the NFAA 800 Archery Lane, Yankton, South Dakota. Commission, what's your pleasure?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any commission discussion? Seeing no mics come on, anyone from the public? Seeing no movement, roll call.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling?
Aye.
Hunoff?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Spencer?
Aye.
Benson?
Aye.
Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva?
Aye, motion passes. Okay, now this is going to be item number 10 that we, under new business, this is the item that I removed, number 1 from consent items, the mobile home park license renewals. So now we've moved that to the new business number 10. So this will be mobile home park license renewals, consideration of memorandum number 25-214, recommending the city commission approve the renewal of mobile home park licenses for 2026. And before I ask for a motion, I'm going to ask if you would have, who would like to come up? Thanks, Brad, for coming up and explaining this. Eric, too, please.
Mayor, members of the commission, if it pleases you, I'll give kind of a general overview, and if you have specific questions for Eric in 2025 for the 2026 inspection, we can also answer those. As you know, mobile home parks fill an important housing niche in the community. I'm happy to say we generally have a conscientious, responsible set of park owners. We inspect them annually because they are a licensed activity. Similar to the other renewals you saw here today, we maybe don't talk about the staff process of inspections in that renewal process as well, but alcohol, the other type of licenses have associated inspections. For us, the inspection, because mobile home parks are a licensed activity, we're taking a look at things that have occurred throughout the year. So each mobile home that gets moved into a park has a moving permit. That's because the ordinance, we're confirming the ordinance requirement that they be manufactured after 1976. That's when HUD requirements for manufacturing for mobile homes came into place across the country. Anchoring standards are set by HUD at the national level, regulated by the state, and those sort of issues, the certifications for installers, those requirements are handled not locally but at the state and federal level. So what are we looking for in our inspections? Unit placement and spacing, issues with exterior siding, windows, doors, skirting, those sorts of things. Unlicensed vehicles, trash, debris, things we would respond to as nuisances in any other neighborhood. And then, of course, we look at safe exiting stairs and decks. You know, with a couple of exceptions of mobile home park that's not in existence anymore, and in a mobile home park that the commission chose to acquire as a part of a FEMA hazard mitigation process, the remaining parks we're dealing with, in the past 10 years, I've seen continued investment in infrastructure, a sense of pride amongst park owners, and even as parks have transferred to other owners, generally speaking, pride of ownership both on the individual owners of mobile home units as well as the parks in general. Mostly each year it's housekeeping related things.
Okay, thanks for the explanation. I just want to make sure people knew what we were looking for and that what you're doing when we talk about this. Just people have been brought up about, you know, how things are looking and how where people are living, and that we're making sure people are living, you know, exits are safe and stuff like that as well. So thanks for that explanation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
I just have one, and it's not going to change my vote, but we've seen a lot of older, I know there used to be some really old mobile homes. Have you seen kind of recycle those move out, some newer ones being moved in?
Yes, in general, although, and this is probably a very long conversation about the economics of mobile and manufactured homes and the way that rules at the federal level that have to do with manufacturing and financing of them, that we could probably have a 45-minute conversation about the economics of how that works. In general, we used to see more turnover. We probably see a little bit less turnover than we used to related to financing. On the other hand, because older units can't be moved into town, we tend not to see those units move. They can move in between parks. We permit them to move in between parks in town. Quite honestly, the cost of moving a unit is fairly cost prohibitive to see a bunch of changes. There's also the economic differences of if financing is not available or available differently, who owns a mobile home has changed over time too. Some people are long tenants of mobile home parks. I wish there was a simple answer to that question, but there's a whole bunch of answers.
Well, that's good. I mean, we're making progress on getting those really old ones out and getting better ones in.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the idea of selecting the HUD standard in 1976 was about the baseline, making sure that we're at least a baseline.
Okay. All right, Commissioner, any more questions? I will entertain a motion then.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any more commission discussion? Seeing no mics come on, anyone from the public? Seeing no movement, roll call.
Conkling?
Aye.
Hunoff?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Spencer?
Aye.
Benson?
Aye.
Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva?
Aye, motion passes. Okay, now we do have some executive session to discuss here, so we will enter that under SDCL 125-2. Oh, thank you, Amy, I almost forgot. Future business. This is a time for any commissioners that would like to bring up anything for future business to be added to a next agenda. Speak now. Okay, seeing no mics come on. I did forget something earlier, though, and I'd like to bring it up now. I would like to thank Commissioner Benson for taking my absence the last time I was not here. So thank you very much for doing that, and I really, really appreciate it. Okay. So next, I will take a motion to adjourn into executive session.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn into executive session. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, nay. Okay, we are in executive session.